Ayla Explorer and the Rainbow Robin. Ayla Explorer was not your average adventurer. She wasn't particularly tall, nor did she have a deep, commanding voice. But what she lacked in stature, she made up for in sheer determination and an ability to stumble into trouble at a truly world-class level. One day, deep in the jungles of Zapatu, a place so remote even Google Maps had given up, she crashed through the undergrowth in pursuit of a creature that shouldn't exist, a rainbow robin. It was rumoured to have shimmering, multicoloured feathers and the ability to whistle symphonies. Scientists dismissed it as nonsense. Miss Explorer, however, had a habit of finding nonsense and proving it true. Right, the last sighting was near the River of Certain Doom. Lovely. Lead the way, Eduardo. Her guide, Eduardo, who was a labrador, he also talks by the way, sighed. He had long since accepted that Miss Explorer did not fear places with names like Certain Doom. He had, however, the keenest sense of smell for sniffing out locations, and he'd learned to carry extra bandages. Miss, are you sure that this bird exists? As sure as I am that those monkeys stole my last granola bar. She glared at a nearby tree where a monkey was, indeed, eating her granola bar. With that, she pushed forward, dodging a suspiciously large spider and tumbling into a mud pit that smelled disturbingly of cheese. Eduardo fished her out, and they continued. This was a fairly typical sort of event when Ayla was around. Her journey began in the wobbly marshes of Splodgebog, where she promptly lost her boots to a particularly clingy patch of mud and had to barter with a very judgmental parrot for a replacement pair. Then she ventured through the twisty-turny canyons, where she got stuck in an accidental conga line of extremely territorial goats and had to dance her way to freedom. By the time she reached the trampoline vines of Bouncywood, she had a bruised ego, a twisted ankle, and an alarming new haircut courtesy of a very mischievous squirrel. Then, suddenly, a sound. A loud, melodic whistle that echoed through the trees. Ayla's heart thundered. That's Beethoven's Fifth! Eduardo frowned. Could be a jungle radio station. No, there's no radio stations in the jungle. Could be an amateur band having a practice. What, in the middle of a hot and sticky jungle? Maybe it's Beethoven himself. Look, I'll trade you for a sat-nav if you keep this up, she said irritably. It's the Rainbow Robin. Miss Explorer bolted through the trees, twigs whipping her face. She burst into a clearing and came to a dead stop. There, perched on a branch, was a bird unlike any other. Its feathers shimmered like a living rainbow. Its beady eyes assessed her with an intelligence she didn't entirely trust. And then with a flourish it puffed up its chest and whistled the entirety of the Jaws theme tune. Eduardo gasped, "It's real!" "I knew it," Miss Explorer whispered. Carefully she pulled out her camera. The rainbow robin fluffed its wings, looking thoroughly unimpressed. She snapped a photo, and then the bird exploded. Not literally, that would be horrible, wouldn't it? Oh, imagine the mess. No. It just went like poof in a cloud of vibrant, sparkling feathers. The robin shot into the air like a bottle rocket and zipped away through the trees. "After it!" Miss Explorer shouted. And that's when the ground gave way. She and Eduardo plunged through a hidden trapdoor and landed in a heap on a stone floor. The door above them slammed shut. Torches flared to life along the walls. Ayla sat up, blinking. A figure loomed before them. A man in a gleaming white suit, holding a perfectly brewed cup of tea. His moustache was so impeccably curled it should have its own title. Well, the man purred. "Miss Ayla Explorer, I presume." She frowned. "Have we met?" "Not formally," the man said, sipping his tea. "But you do have an unfortunate habit of interfering with my business." Eduardo groaned. "Oh, Not another villain. It wasn't their first confrontation with a baddie. There are a lot more baddies out there than you might think. It did complicate things. The man ignored him. Oh, I'm no villain. I'm Lord Baslington, collector of rare and remarkable creatures. That robin was meant to fall through the trapdoor, and you've scared it off. Miss Explorer's jaw dropped. You were trying to steal the rainbow robin, you cad! Baslington chuckled. I prefer connoisseur of the exotic. But yes. Miss Explorer exchanged a look with Edurardo. He'd been clocking the joint, as the expression goes, and had been taking careful note of the surroundings in the dark cave. He surreptitiously was pointing with his paw at one of the torches on the wall. Then he mimed pulling a lever, and then looked at the torch, and then looked at Lord Baslington, and then looked at the torch, and then looked at Lord Baslington, and did this several more times, each more earnestly than the last. Oh, right, Ayla said faintly. Then she launched herself at the torch, yanking it from the wall. A mechanism clicked, and with a loud whomp, another hidden door in the floor flipped open, just under where Lord B was standing, past tense. Baslington squawked as he tumbled down, tea and all. Miss Explorer dusted off her hand. I do love a good trapdoor. That's the trouble with baddies, they can't resist putting them everywhere. Edurardo helped her climb out of the underground chamber, where she was astonished to see that the rainbow robin was waiting, perched smugly on a vine. It whistled a dramatic opera tune as if demanding an encore. Oh, don't be so pleased with yourself, Miss Explorer huffed. We did all the work. The bird puffed up its chest, then, quite rudely, stole her compass and darted off into the jungle. Miss Explorer sighed. Oh, well, at least I got a photo. Edurardo checked the camera. About that. Miss Explorer peered at the screen. Instead of a rainbow robin, there was a blurry image of her own muddy face. She groaned. Of course. Forward-facing camera. Edurardo patted her on the back. Next time? She grinned. Oh, definitely. I hear the invisible iguana's around here somewhere. And with that, they marched back into the jungle, ready for their next ridiculous adventure. And thank you very much to Ayla for sending us the idea for Ayla Explorer and the Rainbow Robin. Always love that. Feel free to send in your own ideas and almost insist that you would like your own name to be one of the characters. We're absolutely fine with that. I think we did Ayla Explorer very well. She did well, getting into silly scrapes and more ridiculous adventures on the way, I'm sure. Ayla, thank you so much. If you have an idea that you would love to see turned into a tale, send it over to us at the Story Quest page over at funkidslive.com. Got an idea for a story? Tell us the title at funkidslive.com/storyquest and we could bring your story to life. For a new story each week, make sure you hit subscribe or follow so you don't miss a single episode.